For thousands of years, farmers planted seeds the same way. They grabbed a handful, walked across the field, and threw them on the ground. That was it. That was the technology. And here is the shocking part. Half of those seeds never grew. Birds ate them before they touched the soil. Rain washed them into dishes. Some fell too deep and suffocated. Others stayed on the surface and dried out in the sun. Then, one man built a simple wooden machine, and it quietly changed how the entire world eats. This is the story of the seed drill. The invention that fed billions of people, yet almost nobody knows its name. Before we travel back in time, if you love the hidden stories behind farm machines, subscribe. A new video comes every week. Imagine you are a farmer in the year 1700. It is early spring, and planting season has arrived. You wake up before sunrise, fill a heavy sack with grain, and hang it over your shoulder. Then you begin to walk. Step by step, row by row, you swing your arm and scatter seeds across the soil. This method was called broadcasting. It looks beautiful in old paintings. The farmer, the golden light, the flying grain. But in reality, it was a disaster. The seeds landed everywhere. Some fell in thick clusters, where the young plants would fight each other for water and sunlight, and most would die. Some landed on hard ground and never sprouted at all. There were no straight rows, which meant you could not weed the field properly without stepping on your own crops. Farmers of that time accepted a painful truth: to harvest one field of wheat, you had to sacrifice almost half of your seed. And seed was not cheap. Seed was food. Every wasted grain was bread that a family would never eat. In bad years, wasted seed meant a hungry winter or worse. For centuries, nobody questioned this. It was simply how things were done. Fathers taught sons, sons taught grandsons, and the seeds kept flying through the air. Generation after generation, farming needed a revolution. And it came from the most unexpected place you can imagine. A sick lawyer who loved music. His name was Jethro Tull. He was born in England in 1674, into a family of landowners. Young Jethro did not plan to become a farmer at all. He studied law at Oxford and dreamed of a career in politics. He even trained as a musician and learned to play the organ. But life had other plans. A serious lung illness ended his ambitions in the city. Doctors advised rest and fresh air, so Tull returned to the family farm. A failed lawyer, a frustrated musician now responsible for fields, workers, and harvests. And what he saw on that farm drove him crazy. Every planting season, he watched his workers throw expensive seed into the wind. He calculated the losses, and the numbers were painful. So he did something unusual for his time. He asked why. Why do we plant this way? Why do we accept this waste? He told his workers to plant more carefully, to space the seeds properly. They refused. Change was slow, tradition was strong, and labor was expensive. If Tull wanted precision, no human was going to give it to him, so he decided that a machine would. Now, here is where the story becomes beautiful. When Tull searched for inspiration, he did not look at other farm tools. He looked at a church organ, the same instrument he had learned to play years before. Think about what an organ does. When the musician presses a key, a valve opens, air flows through exactly one pipe, and exactly one note plays. Perfect control. Perfect timing. Nothing wasted. Tull asked himself a brilliant question. If a machine can control air this precisely, why can't a machine control seeds? In the year 1701, he built his answer. He took a wheeled frame, and at its heart he placed a rotating cylinder inspired by the organ's mechanism. Some say by the sapboard, others by the grooved parts of the instrument. As the wheels turned, the cylinder turned with them, releasing seeds one by one in a perfect rhythm. His machine did 3 jobs in a single pass. First, a small blade cut a straight, narrow channel into the soil, always at the same depth. Second, the mechanism dropped the seeds into that channel, one at a time, perfectly spaced. Third, a small harrow at the back covered the seeds with soil, tucking them in like a blanket. One man, one horse, one machine. Straight rows, correct depth, almost zero waste. The results were remarkable. Fields planted with the seed drill produced significantly more grain while using a fraction of the seed. The straight rows meant farmers could finally remove weeds between them. Tull even invented a horse-drawn hoe. For exactly that purpose, you might expect that farmers everywhere celebrated this invention. They did not. They laughed at it. Tull's neighbors called his machine a strange toy. His own workers sabotaged it, afraid it would take their jobs. When he published his ideas in a book called Horse-Hoeing Husbandry, many experts mocked him. Some of his theories about soil were indeed wrong, but the machine itself was decades ahead of its time. Jethro Tull died in 1741, without ever seeing his invention conquer the world. But ideas, like seeds, sometimes take time to grow. Through the 1700s, inventors kept improving the design. By the 1800s, the Industrial Revolution changed everything. Factories began producing seed drills with iron and steel parts, stronger, cheaper, and more reliable than Tull's wooden original. Horse-drawn drills spread across Europe, and then across the endless fields of America, where they helped turn the prairies into the breadbasket of the world. Then came the tractor, and the story accelerated beyond anything Tull could have dreamed. Today's seed drills are giants. A modern air seeder can stretch more than 20 meters wide, wider than a basketball court. Powerful fans push seeds through dozens of tubes at once, planting hundreds of hectares in a single day. And the precision would make Tull proud. GPS satellites guide these machines with accuracy of just a few centimeters. The tractor can steer itself, row after row, never overlapping, never missing a spot. Sensors read the soil in real time and adjust the planting depth automatically. Some machines even change the seed rate as they move, planting more seeds in rich soil, fewer in poor soil. Square meter by square meter, a single farmer with a single machine now plants more in one day than an entire village could plant in a month. 300 years ago, stop and think about that. From a handful of scattered grain to satellite-guided precision, from losing half your seeds to losing almost none. That entire journey began with one frustrated man staring at a church organ, refusing to accept waste. The seed drill never became famous. It never got the glory of the tractor or the drama of the combine harvester. It works quietly at the very beginning of the season, when nobody is watching. But every loaf of bread, every bowl of pasta, every biscuit on your table, they all begin their journey inside that machine. Without the seed drill, feeding 8 billion people would simply be impossible. So the next time you see a field of perfect green rows stretching to the horizon, remember the sick lawyer who was told to rest and instead changed the world. If you enjoyed this story, hit the like button. It is a small click for you, but it makes a huge difference for a growing channel like this one. And subscribe, because next week we are exploring another machine that quietly built the modern world. Want to see what happens to these seeds at the end of the season? Watch our video on the combine harvester. It is right here on the screen. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.